Chapter 4 Gathering. I follow Aquila, not because I want to. I follow her because when I send out my clickstream as far as I can make it go, I do not see my family, not even a fleeting shadow of them. They could be anywhere. There are stories of younglings who got lost and even whole families who disappeared and were never found again. I do not say that I am frightened. Aquila would never leave her baby unless she knew how to find him again, but I do swim close enough to touch her. When I was younger, I was always measuring myself against my cousin, height of fin, length of flipper. I was so eager to catch up. Today, I am relieved to see her fin taller than mine. Glad I still have time to grow. We swim side by side, flippers touching, playing our old game of seeing how long we can hold the connection. You know, Aquila says, we could be the first ones to find our Chinooks. They must be close, I said. The summer stars are in place. The kinship is gathering. Mountains mark the edge of the Salish Sea like a great reef on the land. They have called the salmon out of the ocean for as long as our kinship can remember. Nobody knows exactly how the mountains speak to the salmon, but every year rains fall in their forests and rush down in rivers and streams, pushing great plumes of gray and turquoise water into the sea. Salmon hear that call and come home from the vast ocean, feeding us on the way. When the seasons turn again, tiny salmon whoosh out of the rivers and streams, all speckled and silver like their parents. They hide in the eelgrass prairies until they are big enough to swim out into the open ocean. And then they vanish into the blue wilderness, where none of our kinship dares to go. But the mountains are faithful, and the seasons turn again. Rain falls, and mountains call their salmon home. One big circle, like the long dance we make with our whole family and every salmon season. I savor the thought of being the first to find a run of salmon, not one fish, but a kinship of them, as big as a storm cloud. I want to be the first to sink my teeth in, the first to share. I am hungry not just for the feeling of a full belly. I am hungry not just I am hungry to know that our mountains have forgotten us. Hungry to know that our salmon have survived the blue wilderness and remembered their way home. Aquila and I swim toward the setting sun. We sweep the sea with our click streams. We click louder when boats are near. A little farther, Aquila says cheerfully. We watch porpoises content themselves with the smelt and herring, and we keep going. Below us, a gray whale is making its dull thunk-a-thunk-a-thunk call as it scoops its boring food out of the muck on the bottom of the sea, and we keep going. Almost there, Aquila says, just as cheerful as before. Over here now, just beyond that sandbar, after the thing carrier passes. She is tenacious and cheerful. It is getting on my nerves. Even sea stars and brainless urchins are chomping and chewing away. When I was a youngling, I thought Great Mother knew the sea down to its last drop. I thought she and Mother and all the great mothers of my kinship were the ones to call salmon out of the ocean. But the more I learn and the more questions I have, sometimes there are so many seals and sea lions that battles are fought over our salmon. Sometimes net boats come and take them from us. Some seasons our salmon runs strong, and there is enough for everyone. Sometimes the salmon comes late, or only a few make it home. No one could say why. I move with her toward the deeper part of the passage, and feel a little thrill as the bottom drops out of sight. I love depths. I am not especially fond of the spiky crabs who sidewalk around down there on all those legs. Squid, also not my favorite. Again, too many legs. But I love to tell spooky stories about what lurks beyond the reach of sunlight. The same stories that Aquila told me when I was young enough to believe she knew everything. Some of the stories were so scary we would both hide under our mother's flippers afterward. Mother would make her comforting thrums. Nothing hunts us, she would remind me, but great mother always said there are more things in the ocean than even I have seen. I love to imagine what fearsome creatures lurk in the depths, unseen for hundreds of seasons. I long to discover what no one in my kinship has ever seen, to find something so tiny that we have overlooked it, or so deep that it lives by a glow of its own making. On the shore just ahead, I can see piles of rectangles and streams of land boats, the roosting spots of huge flock of humans. Our gathering place is on the far side of the human roost. Two seamounts, tall and slender, mark the spot. All the families of my kinship have come here to watch the salmon return for as long as the great mothers can remember. The faint taste of saltier water from the ocean reminds me of winter days spent along the stormy coast. We are all close to the gathering place now. When I send out my click stream, I can see the faint shadow of many orcas all swimming together ahead. I cannot wait to be with them after the long season apart. I call out to them. Before they can answer, a power of the earth shakes the very stones of the sea. The first jolt hits like the punch of lightning into water. What was that? I shout, turning toward Aquila. She swims to my side and tucks me under her flippers like I am her own baby. Another jolt, a low grinding sound, so loud I can feel it on my skin. Little sand hinders and bottom fish float up from their hiding places and hang in the water, too shocked to swim. Bubbles whoosh upward as if some monstrous thing is breathing under the bottom of the sea. The water has a sudden bitter tang. I hide in Aquila's shadow, afraid to come up for air. The bubbles stop rising as abruptly as they began, and the grinding of rock against rock stops a moment later. Aquila and I rise side by side for a breath and another. It is a power of the earth, Aquila says. She sounds as shaky as I feel. Fish hang in the water stunned. Little sea shakes happen sometimes. I have felt them before, but this one sounded different, and I have never seen bubbles come out of the bottom of the sea. The earth itches just as we do, Aquila recites the story grandmother told us, both when we were small. It rolls and rubs against rock as we do, and sometimes bits of it break free, just like we shed old skin. There is a pleading to her voice. She needs me to believe the story so she can too. I am not sure what I believe, but a familiar ache in my chest prompts me to breathe. Above water, everything looks the same. Eagles soar, boats churn this way and that. Ashore among the piles of rectangles, little land boats al- roll along like always. We should keep going, I say. Altair will be frightened. Aquila agrees before I have a chance to stay. Deneb, too. My brother acts brave, but he is only 20 seasons old, and I was wrong to leave him. We have not gone far when grandmother's call reaches us. I am Syria of Wormward kinship, of great salmon eaters. I am Actura, daughter of Syria, mother calls after her. Me! I am me! Altair squeaks, eager to join the game and all out of turn. I leap for joy. My family! Others call out their names, mothers and sisters first, and then brothers and sons, except for Altair, who chirps, me, nonstop. I hear my mother's sister, Aunt Nova, and great mother's two older sisters, their daughters and sons call out. I check their name against my memory. Are they all here? A few moments later, and much farther away, I hear the other voices of my kinship still traveling from the ocean. I am Ganymede, daughter of Europa, and great daughter of Lo of the Wormward kinship, of great salmon eaters. I am Phoebe, daughter of Titania. I am Mimas, son of Phoebe, great son of Titania of the Wormward kinship. They have survived another cold season and come home to us. They are not my traveling companions, but they speak my language and we belong to each other. Though I do not see them every season, I feel stronger and braver when we are together. Aquila and I reach the gathering place. Altair hurries to his mother's side and pokes at her belly for milk. He is long past drinking his food, but still young enough to ask for comfort milk. A few quick swallows, and he is as cheerful as ever. Deneb peels away from racing with his cousins. He swims around and around me, stroking my side with his flippers. He rubs his head against the tender places on my chin. Sorry, I whisper to him. I nudge him to go back to his cousins, but he sticks by my side as if to make sure I do not wander off again. Our kinship holds the long dance each year in honor of the return of salmon. At first we swim toward each other in long lines, then the leaping and spinning and splashing begins. Deneb loves the part best, and is keen to show all of us how much he has grown. We tell stories of our travels and wild adventures and narrow escapes. I overhear the wayfinders comparing today's sea shake to ones from generations past. I'm relieved and proud to hear the old tales. We have endured hard things before. No power of the earth will stop us from gathering. In all the hubbub, Great Mother comes to Aquila and places a flipper gently on hers. Well done. You found the way. Great Mother does not scold me for going off alone. She never scolds, but I feel the sting of what she has not said. I made a mistake. I only thought of how fast I could swim. I only cared about what my mother needed and not what my baby cousin was strong enough to do, not what was best for my whole family. Wayfinding is a privilege, but it is my birthright too, and I want to be worthy of it someday.